How did we get here? How did we get here? Real estate has gone crazy and the market is hot. Things are nuts. And how in the world did we get here? I want to talk about this today, and I want to just go on a little bit of a rant, maybe not a rant, but just a conversation that is going on in my head. And I want to kind of play this out a little bit. So humor me for a couple minutes. Because I was having a conversation with my coach, Dan Sullivan, and I was listening to a podcast he was doing with another guy, and they were talking about Cloudlandia and land. land, human land, physical land. And it's really interesting because I get this question a lot from clients, from other people in our team going, how did we get here? And it all kind of clued in when our handyman, when he came into the office, he was doing a few things in here, and he came down and sat down in my office, and he said, Jared, I need to understand what is going on. How did we get here? What is happening in our world to make real estate this way in Calgary when we haven't seen this type of economy supporting it or anything like it in the past? And I explained it to him like this. There are two types of worlds that we live in. We live in this physical world, the touching world, the hugging world, the put on your mask world, right? That's the kind of world that we live in. But we also live in digital world. And the digital world is out there. It's not affected by COVID in the way of a virus. I mean, there's definitely viruses out there, but there's not a virus. COVID is not affecting it like the way that it's affecting our physical world. And what COVID has done is it's created physical barriers in between us and people and each other and experiences and dance classes for my girls and all of these kinds of things, right? And because of that, it's changed things. It definitely has. We've all felt it. We can't run away and escape to a hot vacation from Canada like we did before. Things are just different. The ski hills are full. You go to Nakiska and you gotta wait 45 minutes in line over the winter. You do different things and it's different. So the physical world was affected. But what's crazy is the digital world wasn't. And the digital world has not been affected. And in fact, the digital world has sped up. And so what's happening and why I'm talking about this physical and digital, because it actually helps explain why we are in the place that we are. So just go with me here. So you've got the digital world on one side and you got the physical world on the other side. The digital world, it sped up. It got fuller, it got busier. Zoom calls, video calls, all of these things kind of sped up. Online shopping, mom and pop shops, pivoting, a year ago, getting their websites ready for orders, curbside pickup, all this kind of thing. That's what happened there. What happened here in the physical world is we just got barriers, just shut down, right? And so we couldn't leave, we couldn't travel, we couldn't go away. Money wasn't flowing out of the city like it had before. Money is now flowing inside our city. So what happened was, and what I'm always surprised by when I think of this, is how much money was actually leaving the city and being spent out versus being spent in. ATB did a really interesting email the other day. They sent it out in their ATB Owl, and it was talking about the average savings per Canadian. And the average savings in 2019 was about, let's just call it $500. It was about $490 something dollars. So about $500 was the average savings for the whole year for the average Canadian, just over the whole country. In 2020, that average number actually went up to almost $5,500, I believe it was, or about $5,000, let's say. So there's actually 10 times more savings that people had when they were going through this pandemic. So people saved a lot more money. Now, if people are saving more money and they can't spend it outside of their city and they're living in their homes more, because digital world kept on going, a lot of people kept on working. We were able to start figuring out how do you work from home and not physically in the office. All of that kept going. People are going to spend their money that they have on certain things. And we realized that people would spend their money on essentials, toilet paper. People would spend it, maybe on some investments. Maybe they would just kind of cash or stack that cash away for a rainy day, because you don't know what's happening. So you want to have a little bit of a buffer in your savings, anything like that. So all of a sudden people are pulling their money. They've saved more money. They're pulling it in. They're keeping it. And then what happens is they're not taking it away from the city, but now they're actually going, wait a minute, we could be like this for a while. So now our city is kind of going, okay, we are in this market, a type of market where I either need to renovate maybe something in my house because I have that extra cash. Maybe I need to move. They're going to spend it on housing, on investments and essentials. People aren't gonna necessarily go buy consumer goods. Even that extra money that's being saved this year, I don't think people are gonna go spend it out on a whole bunch of consumer consumption, right? Some might still, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But what's happening is because our digital world, so let's go back to that, because our digital world kept going and our physical world stopped, that put people together, the families. That potentially caused a lot more divorces, a lot more births. It potentially caused a lot of realizing the space they were in wasn't working and they needed to change it. People move typically on life changes, deaths, births, marriages, children leaving, children coming, all of those types of situations. And COVID, because again, we got locked down, could have caused more of those things to happen as well. I don't know for sure. It just feels like that. And so how did we get here? Well, because the digital world kept going and the physical world stopped, it actually perpetuated a market that is going to keep going. Now, is this going to last forever? No, it definitely isn't. Is this causing a bubble in Calgary? I actually am going to say no, because the prices aren't increasing. We're not seeing bubble prices. So out in Ontario or Vancouver, I've seen articles where it says, the homes are selling for $400,000 over asking. That's not here. That's not Calgary. So are we creating a bubble? I don't think so. Are we creating a market where maybe someone who couldn't sell their home before kept it as a rental and now is going to list it because they might actually make their money or get some money out of it again? That could be. So now that's going to cause a problem for rentals. So now you're going to have people who are renting homes and a shortage in rentals. So rental prices could go up too. So it's this weird market. How did we get here? Again, digital world kept going and physical world stopped. And because of that, we stayed at home and we spent our money on our essentials. We spent our money on the things that were important to us. And right now, housing, where we are, where our family is important to us. So those are just some thoughts, some rants. Here's my 10-minute out there rant. How did we get here? And where are we going? I don't know. If I knew that, man, maybe I would just go to somewhere else. I don't know where I'd go. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. Does this resonate? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you see the real estate market going? Even just where do you see some of these investment markets going? Where do you see some of this stuff happening? What do you see happening in this market? But those are my thoughts. So I thought I'd just share because it's been asked many times. I've had other realtors, other agents reach out to me because they're being interviewed on different things and saying, hey, I watch your videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And these are what I told, actually last week I had a call. This is what I told her. And I just said, that's what I think, because we can say, you know, through this market, the first time buyers and this and that, and these people are getting divorced, whatever, that's happening. Yeah. But what's behind that is actually the digital and the physical, because that's what's causing, you know, people getting more divorces or more marriages or more this or more that or less this or less that, is because the digital world is continuing and sped up, and the physical world is what stopped and paused. So those are my thoughts. I hope you find this interesting, because I find it interesting. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you on the next video.